Hi, this is the Naranak with another episode of Thoughts for Sailor Moon Crystal, this time for episode 21. And really excited about this episode as we finally kind of get the return of Sailor Mars, Sailor Mercury, and Sailor Jupiter. Or at least we get to get an update of them, see them a bit, have them actually speak. And that's kind of about it, but still, that one scene with them is pretty awesome. Just because we're finally seeing them again. It feels like it's been way too long, and thankfully, of course, the next episode, it should be their full return. But yeah, if you're missing those three, it's definitely a nice episode. Just to see them again. But for the most part, for the first half of this episode, it's more of basically a focus on Usagi, who has been kidnapped by Prince Demando, and she pretty much kind of gets an info dump from him as he goes ahead and talks to her, and kind of explains what the dark moon is, or black moon is kind of all about, the fact that he wants to take over the world because he thinks that the long life and peace that Queen Serenity was bringing the Earth was just some kind of lie, and they needed to bring back death and destruction. I think the only thing I really did not care about for this arc at all is the fact that the Black Moon, they really had kind of iffy, motivations. And in the end, you learn that it's basically they're evil. They started off evil. They will probably end evil. Basically, if you follow the manga, which of course Sailor Moon Crystal is. As we also learned that, the Black Moon, they're probably all came from this enemy called Nemesis, who was it Nemesis? I think so. And, no, not Nemesis, Pharaoh. Nemesis is the name of the planet that they're most likely from. But yeah, and, they're just kind of evil. So, I think that's overall, story-wise, kind of a disappointment that there really doesn't seem to be a real sound motivation with the villains. But at this point, there's no turning back. I guess the only real major change from the manga is the fact with Prince Demando, his whole scene, we don't have Sophia Rubius randomly popping up at the end, if they had been just off to the side watching the entire time, which kind of happens in the manga and is kind of weird, but in Sailor Moon Crystal, they just have pretty much Prince Demando kind of fill their role, because all it is kind of explaining why Usagi can't transform into Sailor Moon when she tries, even though she is able to kind of break Prince Demando's spell enough after he kisses her to at least push him away. But after that, really like the scene of, having Usagi kind of, really reflect on herself about, why she isn't able to transform, to realize that, she created a lot of doubts within her with how she has been reacting to the attention Mamoru has been given Chibi Usa. And of course, remembering her mother's words of Queen Serenity, that the silver crystal, its power kind of draws from her heart, and she realizes that it's that doubt that is probably actually preventing her from using it, she's been able to in the past. And with that, she's well, yeah, with that figured out, she is willing to kind of put that doubt aside so she can actually use the crystal. Um, and with that, she's actually able to contact Mars, Mercury, and Jupiter. Uh, and thus we get their little scene of, waking up, trying to transform, not being able to, and then pretty much being attacked by whatever energy thing is in the cavern or wherever they are. And that basically kind of wraps up the first half of this episode. So that kind of helps move the plot along. Also, we do find out that, Prince Demando, he's pretty obsessed with Neo Queen Serenity, and to that fact, Usagi. Let's see. And then, of course, second half of the episode, we switch focuses over to, Chibi Usa, and then we finally find out, how exactly she's connected to everything. I also kind of really liked it because we also kind of find a lot of or kind of give reason for pretty much her actions, and the fact that, she's actually technically 900 years old, even though she looks like a little girl, and still pretty much acts like one. And that, because of that, she has, a lot of, she's, been bullied and everything, because she doesn't seem to have any power, even though, she's the one destined to kind of take over from, her mother. And, she's had issues with that, and that is what led her to stealing the silver crystal, which kind of set a lot of things in motion, and that, she feels guilt about that, and, just feels overall really conflicted with the fact that she doesn't feel like there's any way she can live up to her mother, and just really doesn't feel like there's anyone that, she can call her own, in the sense that it kind of feels like she doesn't quite realize that, she doesn't have to have someone solely for themselves to, be cared for, and which is the root of a lot of her actions, which of course ultimately has her running off and running into Wise Man, and of course that isn't going to lead to good things. In fact, we see a hint of that from the very start of this episode, where Usagi, in her kind of dream state, sees Mamoru with someone that she recognizes as Chibi Usa, but it's like an adult version of her, which of course, if you're familiar with the manga, is going to be Black Lady. So that's also kind of exciting, because it means that, we're really that close to the end of this story arc. And yeah, that's basically the episode. Overall, with again, it's not really one of my favorite story arcs, but I do appreciate the fact that in the manga and of course with Crystal, that Chibi Usa, she comes off quite a bit more sympathetic. I mean, I love the fact that, we had her, feeling actually really happy to see that Usagi is far from perfect, because, she actually connects with that, she kind of screws up, or feels like she's kind of a screw up. So actually seeing that kind of helps give her a little bit more confidence in herself, and just kind of connect with her. And yeah, like I said, overall she's much more sympathetic in the original manga and in Crystal than she was in the original anime series. I think in the original anime she was really played as a brat, and never really quite escaped that, or at least definitely not for the R season. And I think with that, that's about all I can think of. I mean, I'm really excited for pretty much the next episode when we finally have, like, Mars, Mercury, and Jupiter, you know, kind of fully return to the fray instead of, you know, being stuck as captives. And just where we're gonna get an upswing of the action, I guess, of the series, as we're definitely moving towards the end of it now. As I don't think there's really anything left to info dump about, because that's what a lot of, you know, these episodes do seem to have been, which is kind of understandable because, you know, you need to know, you know, some of these things, and now we need or have learned, you know, a great deal about the villains. So all that's kind of left is kind of kicking their ass, really, at this point. So I think with that, I'm just going to go ahead and wrap up. Thank you for watching. I hope you subscribe to my channel, leave a like or comment. Until next time, bye!